Morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. I hope it finds you well out there as well. It is March Madness, right? We got the finals today. I am very sorry for all of you U of A fans, but yeah, we knew it was coming sooner or later. U of A always somehow finds a way to not get it done. But anybody that gets that far deserves a lot of credit. They will play UConn, very unpopular UConn. The UConn head coach. For you ASU fans, is there such thing as ASU basketball fans? I don't know. But for the few of you that they are, obviously we have the wrong Hurley. See, we had Bobby Hurley, the brother of Dan Hurley. See, Bobby Hurley was a better basketball player. Obviously, Dan Hurley, the better basketball coach. So we'll see about that. UCLA women pulled, I guess, an upset, winning the national title for UCLA. I will say this. I did not watch a lot of the basketball this weekend, but I did watch some of the women's just to watch the coaches. They were hilarious. I don't know why, but they are very boisterous, to say the least, and I was highly entertained by watching the coaches of the girls, or the women, excuse me, as well. Anyway, it'll wrap it up today. The Masters starts this week for you golf fans. One of the big majors. We'll see how that goes. And, of course, how could I forget? Is it going to be Taco Tuesday tomorrow? That is the question. Some funny math to be sure. Remember, Iran had 10 days. Technically, today is 10 days, but giving them till tomorrow, and everybody is wondering, right, who was it? Howie Mandel, right? Deal or no deal, right? That is going to be the question, and I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm just guessing. I have no, it's not like I am not sending text messages to the Iranians. Just full disclosure, I don't have any connections to the Pakistanis, so I'm not involved in this negotiation of any kind. But I think there's going to be a lot of bombs flying tomorrow. That's kind of my guess. But what do I know? 800-951-0592. That is our toll-free number. Of course, gold and silver. It's interesting. AllAmericanGold.com, by the way, the website. Appreciate everyone going out there. We've got a new shopping cart. It's a little more functional. Hope you guys like that. Now you get to check. Instead of having to write check in the box and all that stuff, now you just got a little button you check or credit card, and it does all the math for you as usual. So I'm still learning how to use some of it because it's a little bit different. But check it out. I think it's better. How's that? It's a little harder. Well, like anything, right? Change, pain in the butt, right? I got to learn something a little different, but we'll get through it all. But having said all of that, having precious metals in your portfolio is a must. It's a must. I don't know if you saw it. It's so much because, right, it takes all the oxygen out. We had a lot going on, right? I mean, the March Madness, war, right? We've got the NBA regular season winding down. Now I'm talking about the Masters, right? We got plenty of stuff to distract. Spring break for a lot of us out there, that if you have kids still in school. Of course, I don't anymore. But in any a lot of stuff. The amount of money our elected officials are willing to spend, it's mind-blowing. And, of course, think about it. When you're spending somebody else's money, does it really matter? Right? I mean, this is what they've gotten to the point of insanity, to the point where the rest of the world. Now, listen, before we did what we're doing in Iran, and you can say whether it's good or bad. It really doesn't matter what we think, right? Some of you out there are like, yeah, bomb the hell on parking lot on them, right? I'm tired of these guys. I get it. Others, dude, we should just stay out of it, right? Let Israel and them duke it out, and let's just, let's take our ball and go home. It's not our fight. Doesn't matter. We made a decision. Right? And I say we. I didn't make it. Jason didn't make it. You didn't make it. Right? President Trump made a decision.
Or who tells him to make a decision?
Well, right. Yes. He was the mouthpiece that made the decision. Whoever that was.
He had to flip the switch physically.
Yes. Whoever it was that whispered in his ear made a decision. And already the United States was kind of losing the rest of the world when it came to using our currency. See, we have a gift. It was a gift. Now, you could say we earned that gift after World War II, but nonetheless, it was a gift. The rest of the world now saying, I want to return the gift. Why is that a problem? We'll talk about it when we get back. 800-951-0592. Again, I think everyone's going to wait to see about a ceasefire. There was a story floated around about that happening. And now I just saw maybe it's not happening. We'll get to that in a second. The Dow's up 80 points. The S&P's up 10. The Nasdaq's up 70. The 10-year note, pretty quiet right now, 434. Crude oil, right now unchanged. $111.55 for NYMEX crude. Brent crude, which, by the way, something kind of interesting in oil, and however it is, WTI or NYMEX crude is a May contract. Okay, that's the May paper contract, $111.58 now, up 4 cents. The Brent crude contract is a June contract. 1 month difference. Right now, I think they're betting that hopefully the Strait will be open before then, because right now Brent crude's trading at $109. And normally, right, Brent crude's like $10, $12. Here's the thing. If you're buying Brent crude today, the last I saw was $130. But for a June contract right now, 109. I hope that makes sense. I don't know why they have different contract dates. I don't know, but it is what it is. Right now, gold's down 10. It's been pretty much hanging around between $4,650 and $4,700. Right now, it is at $4,660. And then silver's down. The spot, the lowest silver's been, at least this morning here, just above $72. And just really quickly, things are kind of changing here as Iran is saying that it has rejected the ceasefire in a formal reply to the United States. There was a report last night about a potential ceasefire. Apparently, that has been declined as the Israelis Before I heard about now I don't know the timing, right? So I don't know if Iran said, F you, because remember, Trump threw out some stuff on Easter, not very Easter-like. It had some colorful language for sure. If they don't make a deal fast, right, and then he warned, open the effing strait or you'll be living in hell. I'm going to blow everything up if no deal. He even threw in a praise Allah in there. So, Trump being very Trump-esque. Then I don't know the timing. I got the information in this order that at least I was hearing there were some text messages, right? Some weird stuff, right? Apparently they're not talking directly, but anyway, there was talk about this ceasefire. And then a story broke that Israel struck a proto-chemical plant in the South Pars field. Right now, that's a field that the Israelis have hit before. And they also hit the power that goes to this field. So they hit a plant and the power. And next thing I know, the Iranians said, no deal. Now, I don't know if that was the order that happened. It was just the order that the news came into me, Jason. But it appears that possibly tomorrow, unless we've got a taco, that we're going to find out exactly what the Iranians can do. If we're going to turn the lights out on them, they're saying they're going to hit everything, right? They're going to hit, apparently, I don't know, OpenAI's got a $30 billion data something that they said they're going to blow up. They're going to blow up oil fields. They're going to blow up water. They're going to blow up power. I don't know if they can, but they say they can.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's a little strange to me, Joe. I mean, if you really want to do damage to your enemies, wouldn't you just take out all their oil tankers just sitting there like ducks? Wouldn't that be the thing you do? If you really want to hurt the world that's coming after you, wouldn't you just take those oil tankers out? And there's no coming back from that one. You've hurt your enemy deeply. There's still something fishy.
Well, I don't know. Do the Iranians own the oil tankers?
No, I mean, right. A lot of those ships are coming from other countries inside the Gulf there. So, yeah. So if you take out all these oil tankers, they're supposed to go to China and India and all these other places. But Iran doesn't seem to want to do it. So, I don't know all the politics. I don't know all the politics.
Yeah, I don't know which is better for me. I mean, if I'm the Iranians, taking out a ship is one thing. Taking out another country's ability to put the oil on the ship is a bigger thing, right? We'll see if that's what ends up happening.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
either, right?
I mean, if the oil refinery is not functioning, how much oil is still ready to be pumped out of it that's already been refined? I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? You take the ships out, you can't move it anywhere. Right? You take the ships out, and they won't take the ships out. They hit a couple. Remember a couple weeks ago they hit a couple ships, right? But they haven't really hit these tankers. So I don't know. It's a political game, I suppose. I guess you don't want to make enemies of Russia and China and India, I suppose. So we'll watch it.
Yeah, that's all we can do is watch and see what happens. It will be. I hope it doesn't. Listen, I'm just saying that. Okay, another update here. Iraq, who the Iranians said, "Hey, we'll let your oil go through the strait." By the way, 13 boats I don't mean to laugh because a lot, some of the news media is making a big. Oh well, some boats are 13 went through today. Normally, almost 200 go a day. So I just wanted to point that out. But Iraq is telling buyers to collect crude, which now can cross the Strait of Hormuz, and then said you may want to do it while you still can. They were given less than 24 hours, because by the time I remember they were given 24 hours at the time. This was yesterday. And saying that Iraq was going to be able to get some boats through the Strait of Hormuz. By the way, we announced that we would spend $40 billion to provide reinsurance guarantees. Wow. Where's that money coming from? Right? Now, what does all this mean? Remember how I started the show and talking about already we were having problems, right? We've we have been poor stewards of the gift. And I guess you could say we gave it to ourselves, go back to World War II, Bretton Woods. Now, Bretton Woods is no longer in effect, right? We have the Basel agreements now. But the rule was you had to use dollars to buy stuff. Okay, take this Iraqi oil as an example. You had no choice but to buy it in dollars. That was the rule. And the whole world did just that. And if you wanted to buy wheat or corn or steel or copper or whatever, that's how it had to be bought. Now, that is no longer the case. Right? Now they say, well, we're not going to force you. But it's all set up, right? It's all easy. And what we found out is using the dollar as a weapon has made countries upset, right? We did it to Venezuela, right? We're doing it to Cuba, right? We do it to North Korea. We did it to Iran. We kind of do it sort of on Russia. Now, the Russian thing got worse. Because Russia had investments in European banks. Not U.S. banks, European banks. And the Europeans went along and seized all of that money. And, of course, now they're like, well, we're going to take any profits they make and give it to the Ukrainians. The problem is the rest of the world's like, yeah, well, what happens if I do something you don't like? I'm going to seize all my stuff? Or are you going to, look at Cuba? Essentially, we're trying to put Cuba into the dark ages like we're going to do to the Iranians. But on top of that, see, we had a debt. Wasn't huge, but it was pretty big, around $5 trillion. And then, of course, the financial crisis hit. And then we really quickly went to $10 trillion. Then we went to $20 trillion. When Donald Trump was president the first time around, it was $20 trillion. We're now getting ready to hit $40 trillion on top of...
Every 10 years.
Right, on top of, oh, by the way, we can also be very mean to countries, kicking them out of the SWIFT system, doing all this, playing politics, right? Being the bully, if you will. In all the countries, all of them, think about this, all the other countries, you add them all together. They now own less treasuries today than they did 10 years ago when the debt was less than $20 trillion. They own less. And no matter what happens here in Iran, Jason, I think the path is very clear. The rest of the world is going to be, you know what? Just to be on the safe side, we need to have less reliance on the United States because they haven't been the best steward of being, right, the reserve currency of the world. And look, we're getting ready to fall below 50%. I mean, we're down to, 56% in falling? This is something where, and the problem is, as the debt gets stupidly big, we need more, not less. We need them buying more. And now the president, $500 billion more for 2027, $200 billion more for Iraq. The Department of Energy, we need $50 billion more for nuclear. Uh-oh. We'll be back. 800-951-0592. Oil's creeping up here. The Dow is getting ready to go negative. Gold's down 746.70. Silver 72.35 right now. And let's just hope we're wrong and it does not happen. We did get some economic data out. The U.S. ISM service sector, right? Our service economy came in less than expected, which is something that we were, and again, I guess this is going to justify the rate cuts. Believe me, rate cuts are coming. I know people don't believe it, but you watch. It was a mixed bag. We did get some new orders. That's great. But a huge spike in prices paid. Matter of fact, it's the highest going back to August of 2022. I mean, that was when inflation was really just starting to get going here, right? We had, I think, was it 2023? We got to 9%, and it took out those numbers. And then also a very deep plunge. I'm hoping that's just bad data, but a very big plunge in employment. The weakest going back to December of 2023. Maybe a sign is the economy starting to buckle under the rising of prices. I say it's too early to make that because this was just a March number, and the war just kind of started in March, right? I think it was the last day of February was the kind of the first start of this, and a lot of this data is collected early in the month. So I'm it's not great. We are going to get this week. We're going to get CPI this week. We are also going to get the PCE, right? That's the Fed's favorite inflation number. We're also going to get the Fed minutes. I think it could be a very rough week if we don't somehow prevent, or whatever you want to call it, if we go ahead with the threat in Iran, on top of we are going to get CPI data, PCE data, and also the meeting, the Fed notes from the last Fed meeting, right? And remember, the meeting there, the war was several weeks in, so it's going to be very, very interesting. Friday is going to be the big day. That is when we are going to get that CPI data. Right now, most expectations, a 25% increase in the headline numbers. Most of the forecast expecting to show inflation well into the threes. So going from, what do we have the low this year? Like 2.4, I think was the low on CPI. And now they're looking for a number closer to 3.5. Personal income, we're going to get that. Income and consumption, that's going to be on Thursday. And then that is also when we are going to get the PCE, the other inflation data point. So, Jason, kind of backloaded this week. Outside of if we hit Iran, if that actually starts Tuesday, now it's supposed to be Tuesday night. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday could be a very tough week on Wall Street with these data points coming in Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
So you're saying when there's no sports playoffs going on, that's when they'll go ahead and start bombing things.
Looks that way, yes.
Couldn't do it this weekend.
The big distraction. You know what? I was thinking it was that maybe they were, because 3 days, it's Easter, right?
Yeah, you wait till all the now there's no distractions. Now, what are they?
Well, maybe Artemis 2 will distract people, right? Because
I don't know. We'll see.
Somebody I didn't make this analogy, but someone kind of made this analogy. It's like Artemis 2. They're not landing on the moon.
No.
Right? They're going to drive around the moon, for lack of a better. It's like going to Disney, taking your kids to Disney, going into the parking lot, but not getting out and then leaving, right?
I would even say it's like making an AI video of going to the parking lot and not actually even going to the parking lot. So, it is. They launched on April 1st for whatever that means, and we'll see. Let's just see what happens with the Iran war, because I was looking at the, I always forget, you have a boat in the ocean, you think it's going pretty fast, but those oil tankers go about the speed of a bicycle.
Right.
And so the boats that had gotten through the Strait of Hormuz before February 28th, they're still in the ocean. Some of them are starting to get to where they're supposed to be. And if there's a true glut in oil, it's how long do they want to drink up all the excess? That could take a while. So all of this, Trump looking like he doesn't even know what to say, trying to keep markets in a certain place by rhetoric, sure seems like it's like a dance, a balancing act to create the ideal oil and inflation situation that the banks want. So we could have several more weeks of this tap dance that we're seeing on the televisions, and then they'll be right where they need it to be, Joe. That's what it seems like is happening. It sure seems controlled, but if you have a guy that's the president and he seems completely chaotic. It doesn't think, and no one thinks there's anything in control. If everyone thinks that guy's chaotic, that guy's crazy, right? But if it's specifically, we need to stop ships for, let's say, 15 weeks, then we'll drink up enough of the oil supply that the prices will be higher dollars per barrel when it settles, and then we can turn it back on. That's kind of what it feels like. It's like, when will there be a peace deal? Is there going to be a peace deal? If all the bombs drop and oil tankers being taken out and Iran's being flattened as far as all their infrastructure, electricity, how to operate as a civilized, modern nation, and Iran is hitting missiles across everything and everywhere, then we'll know that's not what it is. We'll know it's not just simple economics. We'll know that, okay. I'll tell you right now, I saw a graphic that said that 7 to 10% of the oil supply stopped moving in the system, that the entire planet is going to suffer. There's 20% that goes through the Strait. So if this is not a fraudulent exercise in economics, then we're headed for something massively bad later this year, Joe. If this is really going to happen.
Brig. 800-951-0592. Okay, got breaking news. President Trump responding to Iran Tuesday, reaffirming Tuesday is the deadline before vital infrastructure gets attacked, and put final, that is in quotes, calls any American opposed to this war foolish, maintaining this is all about Tehran not getting a nuclear weapon. So if we were uncertain as to why Trump today saying this is all about not allowing Iran to get a nuclear weapon, and essentially saying Iran has rejected any ceasefire, and it looks like we maybe we're not maybe it's going to be an interesting week right now. The markets don't know what to do. They don't not believe them, but I guess it's going to be. Trump said that Iran's ceasefire, apparently Iran set some conditions for a ceasefire, said that it was not good enough. I don't know if that's true, not true, but according to the president, Iran made a proposal, said it was significant. It was a significant step. It's not good enough. We'll see what happens. So there you have it, Jason. I think it's going to be a very interesting week. It's going to be really interesting to see what the CPI numbers come in at. Goldman Sachs has now downgraded the American consumer, saying that the American consumer doesn't have any money left over, or less money left over after paying for gasoline. Again, inflation with rate cuts. That's my call. When the dust settles here, that is the call. Jump on this opportunity. We'll see how all of it, plays out. It's going to be very interesting.
It could be higher rates for everybody else. I mean, they could lower the rates, inflation, and then everybody else gets the higher rates. It doesn't. Listen, just because they can borrow at the top at the lower rate, it's the Fed funds rate. They can just cut for that.
Look at
those at the top.
Countries like Japan, the UK, right? They're probably going to have to raise rates because they literally can't get anybody to lend them any money. And as we've seen, listen,
how about this,
we've
Joe?
been lowering rates here, but yet the yields are higher.
If you had a lot of money, would you loan Japan's government money?
No, I would never.
See?
Right?
So I mean, now it could be, hey, loan Japan some money because you're a fat cat and maybe they got some stuff coming on the back end. I mean, there's always those deals. Okay, you know what? You're only doing it to try to make money on the trade, right? The yen carry trade. Well,
which
look, if you're a businessman, you're a big corporation, you're like, okay, I'll borrow some of your crappy yen. I'm going to lose money, but as long as I get to import and export all of my goodies for my corporation, and I make 3 times the money on what I lose on your yen, right? But that's kind of the point. The big corporations aren't really making the kind of dividends, right, Joe, that kind of make up for buying all that bad debt from these central banks, from these countries, these nations. So that's kind of the point. Even the favors aren't big enough to cover the I'm going to buy your crappy debt. I saw a video. I should have just gotten a load. I'll pick it up. But it's about we talked a little bit about the meat. Remember the meat, Joe?
Yeah.
The meat on Friday. How they're mispricing the meat. Well, I was looking at gasoline now, and there's probably audience members listening, seeing some of my same stuff. But the pump, if you ever do like a pre-amount, like I'm going to do $50, or you get to the $75, but there's that end where it slows down, right?
Right. Yes. Right as you're approaching whatever that limit is.
It's very likely there's no gas coming out. It's very I was seeing videos. They take the pump out of the gas tank and they're holding it in the air, and they put it right next to where the counter is, and it's counting up, and there's nothing coming out of the pump. Gas, and this has all been happening in the last month. They have leakage where the gas is leaking before and after you pull the pump out, and it's still counting the gas as it's leaking. And then they have pumps that are not counting right. And the guys that are doing the videos are like, look, I've been watching this closely. This started in the last 4 weeks. It started just in the last 4 weeks. It's insane.
Each state has weights and measures. That's kind of like their job.
Yeah.
Right? That's their job. Believe it or not, they have people that go in to the stores, the gas stations.
Yeah.
And randomly pick out, right, make sure that you're being charged properly, and if not, they fine you and stuff like that.
How expensive are those guys to buy off?
Well, and again, not even buying them off. You know what? These states, right? All the money's dried up. I don't even know. Did they, cutbacks?
This one gas station, the digital sign was flickering. Like the digital sign, it kind of looks like it's malfunctioning. It's flickering. But at that gas station, a woman put 3.8 gallons of gas into her car. It cost $25. It's not illegal. It has to be what the sign says. But if the sign's malfunctioning, how much gas do you have to give them for their $25? Well, apparently it was 3.8 gallons.
Diesel just hit $8 in California.
Oh, well, that would be 3 gallons.
Great job, California. Yeah, no. Final segment coming up. (800-951-0592) Patriot Radio News Hour here on this Monday. $5 Liberties. I'm going to put them on sale here. $1,195. So even cheaper than 20s by quite a bit today. $47.80. 20s are $46.50. Wow. So $5 Liberties, $11.95. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Apparently, President Trump says the Iranian people want to hear bombs because they want to be free now. So throw that into the mix. Do with it as you like. $5 Liberties, $1,195. And it's.
Would you rather be a slave in a society that's functional, or would you rather be free with living in a wasteland?
Yeah.
If you take out all the infrastructure, no electricity, no nothing.
Listen, seriously, if you take out the power and you blow up the bridges, because that's what we're
and the water
saying we're going to do. Yeah, you don't have a function. You don't function at that point, right? I mean, now you're talking about surviving becomes the goal, right? Not living, surviving.
That statement is just so ridiculous. We're gonna blow them up because the citizens want us to blow them up so they can get some freedom. Free nothing is still nothing. At least if you're a slave and you earn a little bit. You got a little bit to go on, right?
Well. And again, remember, after Tuesday, we get all the inflation data. Thursday and Friday, we get our first look. And again, this is an early look. Okay, this is most likely oil in the 80s. Maybe, a little bit of $90 oil, because remember, these reports, they gather information the first 2 weeks of the month, and then they swag. They guesstimate the rest of the month.
We get lagging numbers. We don't get up to date.
Yes. So, but it's gonna be up there, right? It's gonna be up there. It's gonna be interesting to see what the 10-year note does. I think that's going to be something we'll watch for. I'm hoping it doesn't go ballistic. But again, I think we're going to end up with rate cuts. We're going to end up with quantitative easing and rate cuts as this thing goes on. Hopefully, nothing happens Tuesday. That's the hope. Let's hope for that. There'll be a big rally if nothing happens. Unfortunately, if something happens, probably going the other way, Jason.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have bombs blowing up Tuesday night, then nobody will look at the inflation number, so they can lower the rates. Right? I mean, who's going to look at inflation numbers?
Well,
who's going to look at inflation numbers if there's bombs blowing up? Right?
I don't think they're going to have an emergency rate cut, right? The next meeting's in May, at the end of May. But I did see Kevin Warsh's nomination is finally moving ahead. Remember, this is supposed to be Jay Powell's last meeting. But I think after Powell, we're going to see rate cuts.
Did you just say Jay Powell's last meeting is going to be explosive? Is that what you just said?
I don't know. Maybe we'll blow that up. I don't know. I know, right? This is the I Don't Know Monday show. Jason and I, we're coming right back with the half-empty cups. Stay with us.